Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting date were posted online, published in the Hunterdon County Democrat and the Eastern Express Times on October 1st, 2020, and posted on the door of Borough Hall. Action may now be taken. Please join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Adam.
Columbus.
Here.
Barry.
Here.
Hughes.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Strange. Zappa.
Here.
Lee.
Here. Okay, motion to dispense with the reading of the September 24th, 2020 regular minutes.
Moved. Second.
Roll call.
Columbus.
Stay.
Barry.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Strange. And Zappa.
Yes.
Motion to approve the September 24th, 2020 regular minutes.
Moved. Second.
Roll call.
Columbus.
Stay.
Barry.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Strange. And Zappa.
Yes.
Okay, right at the top of the meeting, we have our proclamation recognizing the last week in October as National Lead Poisoning Awareness Week. Whereas lead poisoning poses a serious public health threat to children and adults, and exposure to lead is especially dangerous to children and remains the single greatest environmental threat to our children's health and development. Whereas lead poisoning can cause irreversible, lifelong, serious harm, including neurological and behavioral problems, developmental disabilities, decreased IQ, growth problems, hearing loss, coma, and even death. The major source of lead exposure among children is lead-based paint and lead-contaminated dust found in deteriorating buildings. And approximately 75% of the houses in Highbridge were built before 1950, when the level of lead in paint was at its highest. Whereas Mayor and Council wishes to help prevent the lead poisoning of its residents, and now therefore be it proclaimed by the Mayor and Council on behalf of themselves and the residents of the borough that the Borough of Highbridge recognizes National Lead Poisoning Awareness Week, October 19th through the 23rd, 2020. Okay, let me get back to my thoughts. First round of public comments. It is the it's the policy of the Borough Council that all public comments on an issue shall be limited to 5 minutes per person, and no person shall make more than one comment per subject. Comments may be made on any subject pertaining to borough issues. Comments pertaining to public hearings should be saved for that section of the agenda. No debating between residents. Comments should be addressed to Mayor and Council at the public microphone. We have a small group of attendants tonight, or attendees, if anyone has any public comment.
I'm going to ask to unmute on the last 4 digits of 4809. Any public comments? Okay.
Can you unmute her?
I can only ask to unmute. It's the only option.
Okay.
Yeah, I've pressed that button and I'm not seeing any response. I guess we are okay with public comments.
Okay. No public hearings. So we are on to the discussion items of best practices, which I guess is an annual report that comes from which organization does it officially come from, Bonnie?
It comes from the DCA, Division of Local Government Services.
Okay. Did anyone get a chance to look at it? I mean, I think we score pretty well as far as getting graded for these things. I noticed that we could probably do some improvements along the lines of shared services, which of course is everybody's hot button topic. But for the most part, Highbridge is, I think, doing pretty good. Does anybody else have any comments or thoughts?
No, my thoughts exactly, man.
Yep, me too.
Yeah.
Okay. Not much to discuss then. We're all good. On to introduction of ordinances. We have only one on the agenda tonight. Ordinance 2020-047, acceptance of easement. Motion to introduce.
Move. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Columbus,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Strange, and Zell.
Yes.
Ordinance 2020-047 shall be published in its entirety in the Express Times and or the Hunterdon County Democrat, along with the public hearing date of November 12th, 2020. On to the consent agenda. Anyone want to pull anything out, or should I just, everyone's good?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Columbus,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Strange, and Zell.
Yes.
Right, we are moving right along tonight. Let's go on to the council committee assignments, starting with Councilman Zappa, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So with engineering, everybody knows streetscape is underway and just about done. There's really just down to a punch list of items that should be almost wrapped up this week, I guess. Anybody who's been following the project saw that we had to take up a piece of sidewalk that was put down and put it down again because there was a dye that was not added to the sidewalk, so it wouldn't have matched the rest of the sidewalk. So that was done. We have a couple bids coming in November 24th for water mains for West Main Street and Washington Avenue. Hopefully, we're trying to bid them both at the same time. Hopefully, we get a better price that way. We've had luck like that before in the past where, the contractor only has to mobilize once, so could save a little bit of money. So we'll see. Hopefully, if that works out, we can award it in December meeting. DPW has been busy as always. They put down about 6 tons of blacktop in the last month, filling potholes and areas where water mains were worked on and basins and stuff. The well, one of our water wells, well 8, was repaired. It's back up and running now. It needed a new drive for the pump motor. New street fence was installed. That was per the DEP. Needed some security there. Meter reading is ongoing. We're almost done with this round. New water meters are getting put in. There's about 180 or so far this year that were put in. Stormwater basin cleaning has been going on. Some maintenance around the borough buildings. Leaf pickup. Zones 1 through 4 had their first pass. Zone 5, which is the Jenny Jump section here where I live, is going to be done next week. So if you live in this area, get your leaves out this weekend. There's going to be a lot of them now. Now they're really starting to fall. There's some trees trimming. The lights at the basketball court are back on from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. daily. And the electronic recycling will be at the Commons on November 21st, which is the last day the Commons is open for the year. I'm sorry, Lynn, if I stole your thunder with that one, but it was on your
Okay. I'll just cross it off my list.
That is all I have, Mayor.
All right, great. Thank you. Councilwoman Hughes.
All right, well, Chris already led into that. And our hope is to piggyback from those 2 experimental weekends to actually having a container down at DPW and having people. So our goal is to continue this if we get enough and the right types of things. So we're still looking into following through with that. I went to a webinar for Sustainable Jersey last week, and they were talking about, because of the COVID, a lot of people haven't applied for any of the grants that are available. So environmental is looking at opportunities to maybe quickly, again, it seems like we're always like last minute trying to pull these things together. But if we could get a grant together for some of our open space, that the open space committee has been talking about, like one of our ideas was a pavilion or a walkway down at the parks. This might be something, because these are bigger ticketed items that we could apply for. And if a lot of people haven't applied for this grant, of course, after the webinar, and she announced that a lot of people weren't, probably a lot of people now are, but we're going to try to pull it together, and that would be on the next agenda approval for us to submit something if we can get it together. Environmental also purchased a new tree for Veterans Park. There was a dead and dying tree that kind of very in the face of everybody, and we knew all summer it was dying, and we got it cut down by DPW, and we purchased a brand new red maple to go in its place. So that will be in soon. I don't think it is in yet. And we're working on the new garbage contract coming up. Bids are going out, and we're looking at a lot of possible changes. We don't know. We have to see how the bids come back in. But one of the possible changes could be to get rid of the stickers. So we'll see how that plays out one way or another. Another possible change could be to have the company give us all of those large containers that hook onto the truck and get dumped in themselves. So there's options within this contract, and we'll see what people bid and what they come back with and what we can afford that's best for our residents. But we are looking at that. And we may extend the contract even from 3 to 5 years, because there's always the option to get out of it if something happens that we don't like. But it helps us to get more bidders if we have a little bit longer, and especially if we're looking into purchasing our own containers and things like that. So there's a lot of things on the horizon that we're looking to do. And even though it's cooler months coming along, environmental is still busy doing things. That's it.
All year long. Right?
Yes.
Never sleeps. Councilwoman Moore, Finance.
The exciting finances. All right. S&P provided the borough with an updated bond rating in conjunction with the refunding bond offer. Our AA rating was confirmed, noting the borough was very strong budgetary flexibility, liquidity, and strong management with good financial policies and practices in place. The added assessment bills were mailed this week. Yay. Total improvements were valued at $2.7 million, prorated at $1.2 million, with total tax value of $52,000. Yes. The property tax reimbursement program was funded by Governor Murphy in his new budget, and checks were mailed beginning October 15th. On the downside, the homestead benefit probably won't be credited on the tax bills until May 2021. I don't know if you got the lovely email, but I did this week from my bank. So they're not going to be credited in February as originally expected. So anyway, the tax sale list is down to 20 accounts totaling $83,306 compared to the 50 accounts at $134,243 when we started the list. And finally, the budget requests for the 2021 are being prepared for all departments to submit by November 20th, so we can begin the budget process for next year. And that's it.
Well, I think that bond rating news is very exciting, Leanne.
That's good for our town. That tells us we're doing very well. That tells us we're doing very well.
For sure. Well, Councilman Strange is not here, so we just cut another 10 minutes off our meeting.
Oh, at least 15.
Councilwoman Ferry.
Okay, I have some very exciting updates here. Historical Committee is presenting Flying Saucers over High Bridge. It's a Zoom meeting at 7 p.m. on Thursday, October 29th. You can go to highbridge.org for the details and the Zoom link. And for those of you who don't know who Howard Minger is, he was a High Bridge resident who claimed to be in contact with extraterrestrials. So I won't give you too much information on that to leave you in suspense until you sign into the Zoom meeting. Also, Polka Dot Cafe, in conjunction with that, will be doing a tinfoil hat contest. So go to the Polka Dot Cafe NJ.com page for details on that event. The following day, on Friday, we are having the original Ghostbusters movie, our first and only in-person event of the year, which will be socially distance marked outside on the field at Union Forge Park. It was planned to be at the Commons, but for more space and the great turnout that we're getting on Eventbrite, we decided to move it there. So if you go to the Borough webpage at highbridge.org for information on that, there's a link there to sign up for your free ticket on Eventbrite. And on the same evening, the events committee is also hosting a house decorating contest with really great prizes from our local eateries. So if you haven't signed up for that yet, email your name, phone number, and address to events@highbridge.org. And going on to more details on the historical committee, the historical committee is working on virtual methods to present and share Highbridge history and 2 historic profiles on Greystone, the mansion on Nassau Road built by Knox Taylor in 1907, and others on Florence Howe Hall, a prominent suffragette who lived intermittently in the home of her son, John Howe Hall. So that's coming up. And also the committee's attending different webinars to keep up with different historical things that are going on. And also on the Springside committee, our tarp is holding up, which is great. It's gotten through some good rainstorms. And we will be hosting a volunteer social distance meeting on November 7th. So stay tuned for the flyer that will be posted on that soon. And that's it.
Great, thank you. Councilman Columbus, Golf and EDC.
Thank you. Golf committee met on October 19th. We have 4 new members, a couple new tonight that were just added. We have some projects going on. We just had netting on hole 17, the second and 7th sections completed now. A couple areas for asphalt repairs going on this first, second week in November. Some projects coming up down the road. We spoke about a lower pond bubbler. That's going to go in the spring of 2021. We also have a vehicle with dump body that will be a new item to add as well down the road. They just completed the fall green aerification. So you probably see some of the plugs in the ground at the golf course, but that's been completed. That's to promote the growth of the grass and everything over there. We have some updates on some numbers here. September, our rounds were up, still running on the 12-minute tee times. Revenue is down. It's about 28K down to budget, but it's still ahead about 3,500 from last September's revenue. There was a very high, excuse me, September was a very high budget draw, as typical September is, but due to COVID and some large event cancellations, the numbers were down. And we also had some prepayments that we missed out on for the verification process. So it looks like that will be made up in October, though, because October is forecasting well. September expenses are over by about $7,800. And EBITDA is down about roughly 36,000. Year to date, rounds down 2,315 to budget. Revenue's down about 28,000 to budget. Again, that October's trending well, so it looks like it's going to make up in October, where everything should even out as far as the year to date goes. EBITDA is up about 17,000 to budget. And that's ahead about $105,000 a year prior. So that's pretty amazing with everything going on. And again, the October forecast is looking pretty good. It's approximately 98,000 in revenue on budget of 66,000. So we're forecasting to beat October by about 32. So that's where the makeup would be. We have some events coming up, or we just had an event. The Califon Fire Department held their annual golf outing. It was sold out, 140 players. It supported this long-term running fundraiser. And on October, this coming weekend, the 24th and 25th, the Hurricane Junior Golf Tour is hosting a rescheduled event due to COVID. It's about 65 juniors from all over the East Coast, many of which are trying to earn college ranking points. They're still signing up. They're still taking applications for that. You can visit the tour at hjgt.org. That's the Hurricane Junior Golf Tour .org. So hjgt.org. If anyone's interested in signing up for that, again, it's a junior tournament. So that's golf, and in the EDC, and then on the 6th of October, to coincide with what Natalie was saying about the 30th, there's planned to have some music on Main, where there'll be 2 to 3 locations with musicians on Main Street from 5 to 9 p.m. That would again coincide with the movie event sponsored by the events committee. People can walk from Point of Light and visit Main Street stores and restaurants. And some updates. There's some interesting information. I know Pablo's been tracking some statistics on EDC with Google Digital Presence and reporting on trends and ongoing monitoring. Many of the searches are from he's getting a lot of search criteria. It's pretty interesting. A lot of them from outside the immediate area. So it's interesting trying to see if there's a way to use that to kind of support the local businesses as well. And interesting story, Craig on EDC had, if you give me one moment, I just want to grab this. I like this one because this applies to me too, and maybe everybody else, I'm not sure, but when you tell everybody where you're from, you say, my bridge, well, where's that? It's by Clinton. So that's typically the story that everyone has to tell, but he was out in Hellertown, PA, and he started giving directions to somebody about where he lived, and he stated he started like, okay, I'm going to start from Clinton, and the guy stopped him in his tracks. He said, Clinton is out by Highbridge. So he shook his head, and the guy said that he knows Highbridge well. He goes there for the downhill pump track and the trails. And just want to say kudos to the volunteers and everyone that made it possible in the town, because obviously Highbridge is on the map and people know the town. So that's my update. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, George. Bonnie, you're up.
Okay. Well, again, as reported, that S&P AA rating is the top of my list. I'm very proud of that. Our last rating from S&P was back in 2016, so it's good to see that we're still on track and doing well. The best practices inventory, as we discussed, we received a 22.5 out of 30 on that. The state, as you know, can take away aid if you actually score less than 16. So it's always good to know we're on top of the charts with that. And we are continuing to gather receipts now for submission to the county, the state, and FEMA for reimbursement for COVID expenses. We are continuing work on the hazardous mitigation plan with the county. This is being updated with input from the borough engineer, the planner, the floodplain administrator, as well as the OEM director and deputy director. So everybody's involved in this. And one last item, the deadline, this is hot off the press, deadline for the senior freeze, that blue book that our seniors fill out for property tax reimbursement, has been extended to December 31st. And that's it for today.
Thanks, Bonnie. I don't have too much to report. I did want to touch base, or I did want to talk about COVID, unfortunately, a little bit. Well, the good news is that Highbridge is looking to receive about $19,000 from the state. I'm 99% sure it's under the CARES Act, but Bonnie and I couldn't really officially confirm that. But it's just to cover our emergency expenses that we incurred over these last few months. We've been keeping receipts for various expenses and such. You know, we're going to make sure that we spend every dollar of that for sure. So that was some good news. You know, our numbers here in Hunterdon County continue to steadily increase up. We're still very low compared to other parts of the state, but it's, you know, I think something that we still want to be aware that's out there, especially as we head into flu season. And, you know, I'd like to give another shout out to our Office of Emergency Management, because I've learned so much this year from Joe Trelone and Chief Bartman, number 1 and number 2, you know, and I fully believe that we're prepared for whatever comes at us next, which is hopefully nothing. But if there is a vaccine and it's something that we're going to be able to distribute to the residents through the Office of Emergency Management, I have all the confidence in the world that Highbridge will set an example for countywide. And Borough Hall is now officially open. I mean, you know, we're not having any kind of grand opening or anything, but it is open to the public. Bonnie and Adam worked really hard, and everyone at Borough Hall really putting a buzzer system in place. So you get buzzed to come in, and you're directed to either window number 1 or window number 2. So if you haven't been to Borough Hall, not that we want everyone to show up at Borough Hall, but they really have a cool setup there. They spaced everybody out within the building, so everyone has plenty of room. We've set up electronic payments, so people are encouraged to pay their utilities and taxes online. And, you know, hopefully at some point we do get back to a little bit more interaction with our neighbors and things, but for right now I think that we have officially found a way to make it work within the borough. So if people really want to drive down and drop a payment off or ask a question or, you know, pick up a map or what have you, they can. Veterans Day, we have our Veterans Day celebration coming up on November 7th. That will be as usual at CK Hoffman's Park at 11 a.m. I know Lynn has also been in touch with the commander there too. We're just trying to sort out the details. I'm imagining it's going to be similar to how we did the Memorial Day event, where we're going to limit the number, or we're going to ask people to, you know, not crowd it too much. Everyone will be asked to be wearing a mask. I know we're going to try to do a Facebook Live event like we did last time, but so we're all looking forward to that. We're just starting to make those plans. And then finally, I wanted to remind everyone to vote. November 3rd, you know, is the official date, obviously, but to avoid the crowds or chaos that might be for people that want to show up in person, to vote by mail. It's very secure. Our county clerk, Mary Melfi, has done an excellent job putting out communications and videos explaining the process from the day you get that paper ballot to the day it finds its way to the county. And, you know, I encourage everyone, if you still are holding on to that ballot or you haven't received one yet, to call her office right away so your vote gets counted ahead of time. Well, not ahead of time. Let's not on November 3rd. So it gets counted on November 3rd, but that it's received on November 3rd. Again, visit the county website. It's excellent. And there's a ton of information on there. And she does a much better job of explaining things than I just did. So that's all I have. So on to the second round of public comments, 5 minutes per person.
Okay. Last 4 digits on the phone, 4809. Do you have any public comments?
If someone's dialing in by phone, isn't there like a *9 or a *1 that they can press on their phone to unmute themselves?
I'm not aware of that option within Zoom. I encourage them to definitely try. The best I have is the ask to unmute button, which is what we were using before. I don't have any response right now. And
just because I recognize the number, and it's just, you know, in case you're not so technology savvy, I thought there was like a *9 or something. But
I don't see any other hands up.
Okay. All right. Legal issues, Barry. You're muted.
Nothing to report on tonight, Mayor.
All right, good news. Communications, Adam.
We have the zoning report for September, monthly tax and finance reports, the sanitary sewer pump station review and analysis reports, the infiltration and inflow study, which goes along with some other items of business that we had on the agenda.
Riveting reports. Riveting. Right, Chris?
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. You got maps, you got pipes.
There'll be a pie chart somewhere.
There's
Lot of
pictures,
pictures.
sewer lines. I mean, it's really
Lot of
good
pictures.
stuff.
Yeah, they did a great job.
No, they did do a great job. Okay, approval of the bill, the bill list. Adam.
We have $2,814,033.74.
Big month. Motion to approve the bill list.
Move.
Second?
Roll call.
Columbus,
Yes.
Barry,
You're muted, Nat.
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Strange, and Zapp.
Yes.
Okay, this was a really fast meeting tonight. I like it. So, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Second?
Roll call.
Columbus,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Strange, and Zapp.
Yes.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody. Next council meeting, November 12th, 7:30, Zoom meeting for the rest of the year, okay? Have a good night.
All right.
Stay safe and enjoy the debate.
Everyone.